What we are always interested in when we do regional assessment for a particular statistic is the disparity. So here we see Greater Accra region having the least food insecurity of about 27.2% in the first quarter of 2022, whereas Upper East region is recording 73.7%. This is showing us about 4 times difference between the region with the highest food insecurity, where we are recording that in the Upper East region 73.7%, and the region with the least food insecurity, Greater Accra region, of 27.3%. The other perspective that we look at regional differences are the number of regions that are either below the national average of 49.1 or below the national average of 49.1. And here we identify about 10 regions that are recording rates higher than the national average. Over the 2-time period, we identify a couple of regions indicating an increase, whereas the others indicating a decrease over the same time period. We now switch the conversation from moderate food insecurity to severe food insecurity. Keep in mind, these are people that run out completely of food, people that go whole day without eating. And we have 12%, specifically 12.3% of such people. This figure again dropped by half in the second quarter of 2022. Significant disparities across rural and urban areas. Not surprisingly, rural areas recording 16.5% and urban areas 9.5% for quarter 1 of 2022. The story of the disparity for severe insecurity is not that different from moderate food insecurity, where we see disparities across the 16 administrative regions. It is pretty striking to see the difference between household heads who have tertiary education and household heads who have never attended school when you are talking about food insecurity. We are seeing a variation again of more than 4 times, where household heads with tertiary education have as low as 15.4 food insecurity as their prevalence rate, keeping in mind the national average of 49.1. Whereas those with no education have as high as 64.5% when it comes to food insecurity, again close to 25% more than the national average of 49.1. Consequences of food insecurity, very well established in the literature. Child health outcomes. So what we did from the survey is designate households that have at least one member who is either stunted, wasted, or underweight as a household with poor health outcome. And another household that has a child less than 5 years, no incidence of stunted, wasted, and underweight. We categorize that household as one would call it a good health outcome. And looked at the prevalence of food insecurity across these households. Again, not surprising to us and consistent with the literature. Once a household has at least one child that is stunted, we have food insecurity 51.6%, which is more than 5 percentage points higher than the same household that doesn't have a child that is stunted. So you need to think about the causes of food insecurity as well as the consequences of food insecurity. And this is what the slide on education and the slide on health seeks to communicate to policymakers.